The next update to the War Within, patch 10.0.5 is here. And if you play Havoc Demon Hunter, there's a few things you should know. Some are important, some are a little less important, but there's also one other thing that has gone unannounced, which I know everyone will be very happy to hear is actually getting fixed. We're gonna go over everything right now. The first thing you should know is that the ability icons for both Sigil of Spite, formerly Elysian Decree, and The Hunt have been updated to match their new non-Blue Man Group associated modern versions. Now, while I appreciate them taking steps to update some of the older spells and abilities from Shadowlands that we've carried into the future, it does kind of leave me scratching my head and asking, why this over other things that are way more pertinent to the functionality of our class? It's only a positive thing for them to be updating and refreshing these icons, unless you're also like me and feel like we have an overabundance of green and black icons for our abilities, and the blue is actually a nice visual distinction that could be recognized at a quick glance during your rotation. Anyways, moving on. The Felsguard talent Focused Hatred has been changed so that it's actually useful in so many more situations and isn't totally useless the majority of the time. Previously, the talent would only give the 50% damage increase to Demon Surge if it only hit one target. As soon as Demon Surge would hit a second target, whether that be the other boss in the 2-target boss encounter, a random ad that spawned in the middle of the fight, or even a poor innocent critter that walked into firing range, you would lose that 50% damage increase and the talent would be rendered useless. This update changes it so that you start with the 50% damage increase on one target, and with each additional target added to the mix, that is reduced by 10%. So, if a Demon Surge hits one target, you get a 50% bonus. If it hits 2 targets, you get a 40% bonus. 3 targets gives you a 30% bonus. 4 targets, 20%. 5 targets, 10%. And then beyond that, there's no increase. This change is going to substantially increase our cleave damage and is probably one of the better buffs we've received in a while. Good job, Blizz. For reals. Now for the bit that didn't make it into the blue post, the change that no one really knew about. The Felsguard talent Monster Rising has been fixed to scale off total agility, not off your character's base agility. And if you're not sure what I'm saying here, let me try to explain. The talent Monster Rising increases primary stat by 8% while outside of demon form. That 8% was being applied to your character's baseline agility before any gear, enchants, procs, etc. This means that it would have been providing the same amount of agility for the rest of the expansion, and as you got more and more gear, that talent would have become less useful. Now it's been fixed to scale off your total agility after gear, meaning the value of this talent continues to grow with you as your character continues to get more agility from gear upgrades. Now before we get too excited, I feel like I should mention that this change was found on the PTR, and as of recording this video a day or two before the actual patch launches, we can't be 100% certain that it will make it into this patch. We could assume, since it's on the PTR, but you know what happens when we assume. In any regard, we can be glad that they have at least recognized the problem and implemented a fix, so if we don't see it in this 10.0.5 update, it'll likely get hotfixed in very shortly after. And aside from that, we have our new Tier 2 transmog set from, I guess, an alternate timeline where Demon Hunters existed as a playable class back in the early days of WoW. Supposedly, it was inspired by Pit Lords and Doomguards. I don't see it. Anyways, don't forget to pick that up, and I hope you all have a great time in Azeroth. See you next time.